Alright gang, welcome back to our Island Preservation Challenge here on Ronida Island. We're going to get started right off the bat here in September by selling pallets, as we normally are used to doing whenever we have a slower month, and that is the situation here. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that first. A little bumpy here. I'm going to have to smooth this out a little bit more, I think. Well, that went well. Alright, now I've put them so far apart from each other, it's never going to happen. Alright, let's make this one up then and we'll move it. Anyway, we are very light on things to do today. So more than likely today, even though I've talked about in the past and we've always found something to do. Today, we are likely to do, well, at least jump to October. There's not tons for us to do today. Really what we have to do today is sell the things I'm talking about. We talked about making a small field there. We're going to work on doing that today. And then we have the two small fields over here that have oilseed radish in them that we can plow up, pick the stones up on, and then drill them with something, which obviously is not going to take us a whole lot of time because we now have quite the large pieces of equipment, right? So it's not going to be a long process, I guess is how I will put it. But that's really the main things we have to do today. We really don't have anything else majorly to do. What I would love to do, I don't think we're going to get enough money to get there, but what I would love to do is get ourselves enough money. I'm just going to leave this kind of right here. It's going to be kind of in the way for a little bit, but, it's not our land, so it's fine. I would love to be able to buy this field down here, or this plot of land down here, I should say. We talked about that a couple episodes back. It's only 27.2. I would love to do that. I think that's what we're going to kind of aim for, but I don't think we'll get there today. I think we're going to be a little bit short. That's okay, but that's kind of the next step, is I would like to buy that one. Obviously, we want to get this field over here, but this field is a lot more expensive than that one down there, right? It's a lot more expensive. So, I'm just trying to, well, quite frankly, I'm just trying to use the money to the best of our ability right now, and really the best thing for us to do is to buy some more land because we're kind of out of room here. We've got a little bit of room here in the middle like I talked about, but really I'm going to kind of save that for more placeables for the time being. But we're kind of out of room, so realistically we should be looking to get some more land, and the one to the south of us would be very helpful for us because eventually we could expand these fields, but we'd obviously turn it into something else for right now. But then after that, it gives us more ability to make more money off the crops, which is really what we need more than anything right now, right? Maybe this wasn't the smartest idea, putting sand here, I don't know. Because it's not wanting me to, it's not letting me unhook it. Oh boy. Huh. Maybe sand was the wrong choice here for the ground. I really like the way the sand looks, but it looks like it might have been the incorrect choice here, I think. Alright, so we're gonna have to get back up here on the grass, I guess, and try that. Because I'm just kind of sinking into the sand, which is really what would happen anyway, right? But I'm sinking into the ground, and it's making it difficult for me to pick up the pallets. Oh well, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it now. I liked the sand look, because I thought it matched and fit what we're doing here, right? I thought it fit the island theme here, so we're going to stick with it. I don't know what's going on. They seem to be having the same issues here, too. Alright, well, you know what? I know for a fact I can pick these up by hand. I was trying not to. Well, maybe not. It's not even letting me take them off the fork. Can I pick it up now? No. Well, we got one of them off. This is becoming a disaster right off the bat. Anyway, so that's kind of the focus we're going to be focusing on doing today, right? Is getting as much money as we can, hopefully, which hopefully will allow us to be able to buy that field in the south, or the south of where we currently are, at least. Somewhere between, this episode and the next, I guess, or this month and the next month. Like I said, we're likely to do 2 months on this episode. I just don't see a reason to not. Now, eggs should be pretty close to right now. There's not a ton of eggs here, but you know what? It's something. So I bet 331 pieces of eggs. I mean, eggs are, I think, November. So perhaps we should pick up the eggs while we're at it. Small amount of money, not anything major we're going to get out of it, but I don't know. It's a $500 difference, though. A little more than that, actually, but yeah, we'll hold off. All right, we'll hold off on the eggs. That doesn't seem worth it. Nope, I was literally nowhere near that, but all right, whatever. The ground deformation with the sand here is definitely something I wasn't anticipating. I should have, because I knew that the sand had some pretty severe ground deformation based off of our Survive 25 series, but I still wasn't really thinking it was going to become a problem. And the way that it has here. I thought maybe we'd go a little slower, maybe we'd get bogged down if I put too much on there, sure, but you can see right there, I wasn't even touching the controller stick there, and it literally was turning me sideways. Now, we do have these pallets over here that we could sell. Again, I'm trying not to sell those. The wheat is likely going to go in for the chickens anyway. They're probably going to need that. But the sorghum, you know, really, I'd like to sell it when it's best to sell, and I know sorghum is not best to sell in September, so we're just going to try to hold on to that if we can help it. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll just park this right here. And we'll strap these down, and we'll head on up to the shop. Now, let's see what's in the used market. I haven't looked at that yet at all today. Nothing. Really nothing. I mean, a roller, a gigantic roller, but we really can't do anything with that. And then there's a mulcher. Really not anything for us there either, unfortunately. So this is certainly not going to get us to the $27,000 we need, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. So how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. At the time of this recording, I can guarantee, and it would have already happened at this point, but I can guarantee that there was not a one-tile challenge on Saturday. Unfortunately, we had another issue with just schedules not panning out the correct way, so that series will kind of slow down a little bit because of, you know, just the situations that we're all in right now with things getting busy. I mean, springtime, things get busy, and as I mentioned before, Rusty works at a case dealership, an agricultural case dealership, so the farmers are, you know, he's on call constantly. Technically, I'm always on call, but I'm not in that same kind of, I don't have that same kind of employment. Mine's a little bit different, so. Oh, it did get us to 27. Only just, but it did get us there. It got us there by $7. Wow. I think the buying of it was a little bit more than 27, though, wasn't it? Yeah, 27 too. So we're just barely short. We are just slightly shy, but that's okay. Like I said, we're gonna rest likely on this episode and go to October. So when October comes, we can hopefully buy that then. Obviously, we'll have to sell some more crickets and stuff, but we can buy that then, which will be good because I don't think. Looking at the map here, the growth, I don't think we're going to have anything to do next month at all. So if we can sell a few more crickets next month, that will definitely help us get that land, and then we'll have lots to do, right? So that's a good thing for us. All right, so I think we're going to do first here is to start off by moving some of this equipment out of the way because we said we were going to make a field here. So let's kind of plan to do that. It is going to require us to move some equipment, like I said. So we'll just kind of move this over here. They're just going to be kind of sitting in the middle again like they were before, just for the time being. It's just kind of a temporary long-term home, I guess. Long-term for the time being, but temporary in the grand scheme of things. So I think what I'm going to do with this field, I think I'm going to put it relatively close to our greenhouse. So kind of wide for how small it's going to be as far as the length of it goes. Imagine kind of where the end of our rocks are there. That's kind of where I'm thinking about, you know, putting it for the time being. So I think first thing we'll do is start off by doing that, is you kind of planning out the field a little bit. And then we'll jump from there onto plowing up the 2 oilseed radish fields so we can get a little fertilization out of that. At least that's my goal right now. Now, the reason I still have that trailer is because eventually it's going to be utilized for some crop, I think. Well, it probably won't, actually, now that I think about it. We'll probably have plenty of money by the time we decide to do that. But realistically, the reason why we have it is because we utilize it for auto-loading all of the cotton bales. The other trailer cannot do an auto-load, so that's the main reason why we still have it. That's literally the only reason, really. Alright, so I don't want to get too close here because I'm afraid I might get a, you know, this isn't your land thing, right? I'll try to keep this relatively straight here. It's not the easiest thing to do on console, because the controller is always kind of turning a little bit on you. But as long as it's close, I'll be happy. And it looks like for the most part we got it pretty close there. That'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna start down here again before we do the other way. I just want to try to align this as best as I can without getting too close, if that makes sense. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna move this for a moment. And I'm going to move this just slightly as well. Just to there. Not anything major. Because I'm going to get a little bit closer than where I am right now. Alright, that looks about to be... Well, I might have went a little far there, but that's okay. Whoops. Perfect. That works out well. Like I said, it's a very small field, but it is, I would say, around one of those size fields down there. So, not terrible, right? We can certainly do something with it. Utilizing a little bit more of our space here. Not sure what I'm going to put in here yet, but we'll figure something out. Alright, that's pretty good to me. Now we're going to get the stones up on this as well. This should, well, not all of it. Some of this should have 100% fertilization on it. Alright, well, you know what we got to do here, gang. A little bit of a shorter intro here, but let's get into it. Let's get to work here. And, yeah, we'll get the rest of this field fixed up, and then plow those 2 fields up. Then we'll get the stones up, and then there'll be time to drill, and see what we come up with putting it in the ground, huh? All right, so let's just make sure that I'm correct. I think I might have misspoke. I think this is only 50%, isn't it? Yeah, it's just 50%. Well, that's all right. I need to get the rocks up off of that, though. I don't know why I unhooked that, but we'll get them up real quick here. It's not going to take us too long. It's a small field. Just like the others, right? So it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, that didn't take too long at all to get all of that done. It was really quick, relatively, honestly. Real. I just completely worded that completely wrong. You'd think I'd be drinking. I haven't had a single thing to drink. I wish I was, but no, I am not having anything to drink. Anyway, we'll get this one up, and then we've got to decide what we're going to put in these fields, right? I don't really know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to pick here. I really don't. Part of me is starting to see a bit of a mini yard kind of come into shape here as well. Probably put a shed or something over here. Obviously not our big massive yard that we're going to have for this area, but you know, you can have a shed here and there for sure. And it would help us with the area for the time being, but of course right now I don't want to put that down because that will take away some of the money that we really want and need to utilize for purchasing the land there to the south of us. So we get this last strip here, and we'll look into the menu here and see if we can figure out what we're going to put in these 3 fields here. And I guess technically I could put oilseed radish in there. I don't know if it would. I mean, I think it would go to 100% if I did that, wouldn't it? Yeah, perhaps I should do that. Even if it doesn't, perhaps we should give it a shot. I know somebody probably already knows that answer, but I've never tried it. Okay, so let's see. It is September. This is not really going to tell me anything, so I don't really know, and I don't have, the growing stages of how many months it is. I don't have it memorized, so I think it's going to be kind of just a best guess here at this point. So we've got 2 cotton fields right now. They're relatively large. Well, technically we have 3. They're relatively large fields. I think I'd like to do something else besides cotton. I think we have enough cotton going on right now. Maybe we don't, but I feel like we do. Let's see. Let's hook up to the planter here. Let's do something in the planter realm, and then maybe the other 2 can be something from the drill. Well, we definitely should do soybeans. I think I'm going to do soybeans on one of those. I think we'll do soybeans. Let's do soybeans in this one that we just made. Or do we do the oilseed like I talked about? Let's do the oilseed. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If I waste it, I waste it, right? If I waste it, I waste it. It's fine. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna do soybeans in both these fields down here. I'm gonna change it up big time. We're gonna do soybeans in both fields. I like that idea. So we're gonna run with it. We are gonna need gas soon. We're also probably going to consider putting down some kind of a repair station at some point soon. I need to saying that I need to double check that and make sure that's actually allowed to be done. I've made so many minor mistakes and one major mistake when it comes to some of the rules here. I need to make sure that we're actually allowed to put down some kind of a service station, and that's not against the rules, right? I need to make sure that it's not a rule that I have to drive it all the way up to the shop every time to do any kind of service. There could be a rule on that. I don't remember. So I need to look into that, I guess, before I do it. But here soon we are going to have to get some kind of a service done to a lot of this stuff here. A lot of this is getting... Why is that jackknifing so bad? A lot of this is getting pretty utilized, right? They're getting pretty damaged, so we need to start to do that as well. And that's going to cost more money, right? And we lost $4 somehow in the process. I don't remember what exactly we were doing to lose $4, but we lost $4 somehow. Now, where do we get gas at in the main area? Is there just a tank somewhere on the side? Yeah, I guess so. Over in the back side, I guess. Okay. It was a struggle at the beginning, gang, but I'm very happy with how this is turning out now. I'm very happy with we've really turned the page here. We've turned around this whole area and the start that we had, which was pretty abysmal, right? So I'm very happy with it now. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to see where we go next with it too, right? So what's going to likely happen is we are going to get this field drilled. We're going to get that field over there, well, I guess planted, I should say. We'll get this field planted and get that field over there planted. And then we'll put oilseed radish in the field that we just made. And then we'll rest. We'll rest until October. See what we can do as far as the money goes at that point, and we should, in theory, be able to afford buying this land that I'm turning around in right now. I believe there's some wool over there too. We should probably go over there and look at picking up some of that wool and bringing it over here to Grandma's Knitwear. Just get the grannies going again. They are currently not doing anything because there's nothing in there for them to do. Now, that wool's not going to help a whole lot. It's not that much. We don't have that many sheep, but, you know, it's something, right? So we probably should go look at doing that, too. I don't know exactly how much is over there. One full pallet, okay. And the start of a second one. Now, is that going to get us an actual pallet of clothes? No, it's not. It's definitely not. There's only 200 liters in there, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just hold off. It doesn't really matter. There's no reason to go over there and bring it over here and get them started, because then I'm going to have to wait for them to go through that pallet of wool. And if I don't, and I just decide to put it in there and then skip to the next month, or sleep to the next month, rest to the next month, I am going to be incurring fees every hour when they're not doing anything with it, when they finally, you know, process through it, right? So I don't really want to be doing that right now. We kind of need all the money we can get at this point, so let's just be a little smarter about it and hold off on doing that for the time being, right? It's funny, we started, you know, coloring all of our equipment to a blue color, and now we don't really have a blue tractor anymore, and there's no real reason for us to be coloring them to that blue color, but, you know, oh well. We'll get a blue tractor again at some point, I'm sure. Maybe we even buy back that Ford again later on, right? Maybe we just buy it back just for nostalgia's sake. I am putting things maybe a little bit too close to some of the production, the fields a little bit too close to the productions, or the productions a little bit too close to the fields, whichever way you want to word it. But I think we'll get by. I think we'll get by. I think we'll be all right. Now, eventually, I say eventually, I don't know exactly when, but really, I think I'm going to combine all three of these fields into one. Whenever we do buy this down here in the south, I think I'm going to combine all three of these into one. That way it's a, you know, a decent sized field. As it currently stands, it's small fields. We were doing that because, you know, we're utilizing all small manual equipment. Now we're just utilizing it from the harvesting perspective. And like I said, we're probably going to buy at least one more of each of the harvesters there. That way, you know, whenever we have a big field, like our cotton field now, our coastal cotton field, I should say, we can use a worker for part of it, and we'll harvest the other part, right? So that way we can get it done a little bit quicker. Because it's going to be a while before we can do any of that. In the last episode, you probably saw, but if you didn't, bit of a spoiler. There was a harvester, a cotton harvester out in the used market. Obviously, nowhere near a range that we could afford. But it was there nonetheless. And that's just our luck, as with always, right? We either can't afford something when it's out there, or we don't specifically need it at that point. We needed it earlier on in the series, right? That's normally how it works for us. It would have been great to have that, but yeah, obviously it's just not going to work out. We don't have. It was like $225,000 or something like that. We don't have $225,000. No matter which way we cut it, we don't have that. I should be able to drive through the peas there. Yes, I can. Good. Maybe not next month. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for the growing stage to be at a point where I start actually having crop destruction. But I always play with crop destruction on. I've said that many times. If I accidentally drive over something, I wanted it to actually, you know, matter. I want to actually lose some crop from it. I didn't really do the best job there down the middle. I thought that was going to be a perfect on all of those, but there's not. I'm going to have to go back up and down these little tiny strips again, but that's all right. It is what it is. All right, that is done. So, it is time for us to rest and go to October, and we will see what October brings us. And we'll also see, I guess, in regard to that field, if it gives us any extra fertilization by doing that or not. All right, welcome to October, gang. Let's get the plow out, and we're going to get started immediately by plowing up this field of oilseed radish that we planted, or seeded, I guess, drilled, whatever. And then we'll you know, work on selling probably some crickets and maybe some of the rice saplings as well, and hopefully get us to the point where we can buy that field, or that land in the south, I should say, that plot of land in the south. Here's the moment of truth here, and like I said, many of you probably know, but I have never tried this before, so I'm giving it a shot. We're going to see what happens here. 50%, 100%. Okay, good deal. All right. That was definitely worth it then. So whatever we decide to put in here, we need to make it worth it. We need to make it count. What do we want to put in here? We're going to have to get the stones up again. That's fine. What do we want to put in here? This whatever it needs to be something that's going to make us a lot of money. So I think I'm going to look and see in the selling list, you know, what's some of the best stuff. It really, and the things that come to mind are canola and soybeans, which we just put in. So I think I'll stay away from soybeans since we just put those in. But maybe canola. Let's do a quick autosave here. I'm not going to look in the menu for long because I know me. I will cause issues here to myself. I'm just going to get the actual thing set up here properly. I would just, you know, be looking at the menu and thinking that I had plenty of time and not, and then I'd be plowing up our peas there, right? Which we don't want to do. Okay, that is done. We just need to grab the stone collector here, and we'll get the rest of those stones up. And then we'll make our decision on what we're going to put in there. And after that point, it's going to be, let's go and sell the more crickets and sell the rice saplings, and then buy that field to the south. And then, realistically, we're not going to get everything we need to get done down there. There's just no way. But we can at least get some stuff started, right? And then kind of finish it up in the next, episode, kind of in that sense. At least that's the way that I'm envisioning it, going about it. So, you know what I have to do. Let's get it done. That's all done. So we got to figure out what we're going to put here in the ground, and we have enough money to buy the field to the south. So I think what we'll do first is buy this, first and foremost. So let's go ahead and buy that, 27.2. These are the $5,000. Not a ton of money, but you know what? It's something. And now we own, technically, if you want to count it, technically 5 squares. Although 80 is really mostly just water with a tiny bit of sliver here. But you know what? That's still land for us to be able to continue to expand on, and that's a good thing. I envision nothing but fields down here. I think the main yard area, as I mentioned, for at least this section of the map is going to be right here. Like I said, I'm more than likely going to make, another section, like in each corner, we'll have like a yard area. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. That way I don't have to drive all the way across the map. And what I'm kind of envisioning doing is taking this corner and making it a pretty sufficient, operation, then do the same thing here and the same thing here and then the same thing down here. The middle stuff, I probably won't do a whole lot with that, with the exception of when we start to make our dream home, which is part of the rules, right? So whenever that happens, then I'll have to start probably taking down some trees and stuff, so maybe I'll go towards the middle. I don't know, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. So what are we going to put in here? Well, let's look at the prices here on the list. So canola's 1877. There's my carrots from a buddy Crustu. Corn's not terrible, 1319. Green beans aren't terrible either. Peas we're already doing. Soybeans we're doing as well. It almost feels like we should do soybeans again, though. That was a pretty good price. Sunflowers are decent. I don't know how long it takes for sunflowers to be ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. I mean, sunflowers are probably 5 or 6 months, I would think. Maybe they're longer. I don't know. Let's do sunflowers. Let's do sunflowers. We haven't done sunflowers in a while well, I guess we're doing it on the 1 series, but we're going to do sunflowers anyway. Perfect. Anything else pop up in the used market for us? There's a harvester out there. That's not terrible. There's a water tank. A little bit of a bigger water tank, as a matter of fact. That might be useful, but again, we don't really have the money for any of this right now. which is, you know, a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. If we're going to do any of that stuff, we really need some more money, and we don't really have that, so... let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much... I don't think I have anything else. I'm trying to think if I have something else to bring up or talk about today. I just don't think I do. I'm kind of a loss for words, which is... I guess I've saying that recently, but I just don't have anything else to talk about specifically right now. I think what I've kind of decided as we moved along here, because I'm starting to actually vision the yard a little bit more, and a small yard here at that, like I said. I think what we'll end up doing is all of this land that you're seeing here is all going to be probably turned into that sand texture. Maybe we'll put down a small shed. Maybe even a little bit of a small little bunker type area, and then we can move all the rocks or the stones into there. I really like that idea of putting them in something like that. Just makes it look nicer and cleaner versus just dropped in the middle of the ground there, right? Now, granted, all those things I'm just talking about doing, they cost money. We only have $5,000, so it's not going to be today. It's just not, unfortunately. But soon, right? Soon. It's going to be some awkward growing angles here on this one, but that's okay. I don't think the peas would have any crop destruction on right now, but I'm just trying to make sure that I don't. If it does, for some reason, I'm trying to make sure I don't have any crop destruction there, because I really haven't tested it, and like I mentioned, I've done peas basically not at all. I think I've done them once in the entirety of FS25, so I don't know how long it takes for the growing stages. I just would assume it's not yet, but I don't know. I mean, it looks the same growing stage as what we saw in September, right? So that's why I'm saying I would assume it's probably perfectly fine, but you never know. You never know. Alright, so let's go put this back over here. And remember, it takes a while for this one to unhook. Let's grab the plow, which I, of course, perfectly put the stone collector right in the worst spot possible. I always do. I always do. There we go. Alright, so let's head down here and let's see if we can figure out what we're going to do here. Let's at least outline one field. I'm not quite sure what kind of field I want to outline yet. So let's see. Let's think this through here for a minute. Let's get up on the bird's eye view here. Let's think this through. So, I said eventually I'm going to combine this into one field. I talked to, I think, a long time ago about maybe expanding these fields this way, but I think it makes more sense just to combine this into one field and leave it at, you know, kind of that size. Maybe shrink it a little bit more to give us a little bit more room here. Seems like we might need a little bit more room here. Same on this side, right? Maybe make it, you know, a little bit shorter here, but still, it's going to be a decent sized field, right? So we'll leave that be. Eventually, this will all be combined into one. So we've got this whole room here, this whole land, rather, to play with, and if you just, you know, take this as the imaginary line all the way down, that's basically what we got to play with, right? We're not allowed to get into here at all. We're not allowed to do anything on the shore of any sort, so I don't really know how to set it up. To me, it almost seems like I need to make another coastal type of field here, right? That kind of goes with the beach perimeter here, right? But I'm not quite sure I want to do that. Maybe I do, though. Maybe I do. Maybe what we do... I think I got it. Maybe what we do is we make a large field. We'll put like a track, you know, to come out to here if we need it, which we kind of do, right? So we'll put a track that kind of runs parallel like this. Well, I guess in this instance, I guess vertically like this. We'll put a track through here, and then we'll make a large field that goes from basically here all the way down to the end of the coastal field until about somewhere in this range, and then over. And then this down here can be all one awkward triangle type of field that kind of follows the coastline, right? Yeah, I like that, I think. The more I think about it, I like that. So, I guess what we should do... This is going to be probably hard to do at this point, but... Like I said, I don't envision us getting all of this done today. As a matter of fact, I know we're not going to get all of it done today. But if we can at least get it started, I think that would be pretty useful. So, let's see here. We kind of want to get relatively close to where this field is. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's close enough, then I think we'll have a winner here, right? Alright, so I think something like maybe a little bit more like that. Make it a pretty large area there. I think that makes sense. So let's turn on that. And we'll kind of follow this along here for a little while. Now bear with me. I'm doing a pretty far up angle here, and that's on purpose just to try to make sure I keep this as straight as I can make it. Yep, I already went off the line after I just said that, of course. But you know what? As long as it's close, we'll take it. So I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of here? Yeah, I think right about there is probably good. Maybe a little bit further. Yeah, there. That's I don't want to go any further than that. I think that's enough. Okay. And we cut across. Yeah, that's going to be a big field. Yeah, that's going to be a really big field. That'll be good. And this time, I'm going to try to give myself a little more room than I did last time, right? Last time, I did not do the greatest job of giving ourselves a lot of room against the coast here. I kind of pushed the boundaries a little bit. I got a little bit too close. So I'm going to attempt, and after I say this, I'll probably screw something up, but I'm going to attempt to keep a little bit more of a distance between the edge here and our field, right? Alright, I think what I'm going to do, just to make sure I don't go too far here, is I'm going to actually stop that for a second and come up here. This is going to be a big field, man. This is a large field I'm making here. A little bit too far there, Z. There you go, buddy. There you go. Stay on that line right there. Right, I think that's going to be about as good as I can get that. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's do this. Let's get a bird's eye view here of this. Yeah, that's a large field, man. That's a large field. It's probably, you know, close to these two fields. That's a large field, man. That is pretty large. Yeah. Okay. And that gives me about the kind of area that I was hoping for down here as well, right? So yeah, that's good. All right. Well, gang, we're actually going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button on the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or ideas, make sure you let me know down below in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you on those. Thanks to my members for all their continued support. It really does mean the world. If you are interested in becoming a member, you do get early access to videos like this one. There's a link down below for you to check out. Make sure you check out my second channel if you haven't done so already and are interested in that. I do non-Farming Simulator videos on there, normally in the realm of single-player type of game playthroughs. Occasionally some multiplayer type of stuff, but mostly single-player type of stuff. A lot of the times I'm doing older games too. I've got a pretty big backlog of stuff that I need to play. So if you want to check that out, check that out. There's a Discord link down below as well if you want to see anything else that anyone else is working on. You can share your stuff on there as well. And I also share my stuff up there every once in a blue moon too. So thanks so much for watching, gang. Thanks so much for your continued support as always. And I'll see you next time.